Welcome back. My guest today is composer and songwriter Randy Edelman, whose new
Yeah.
album, Waltzing on a Highwire, and single 21 Again mark a new creative chapter in his remarkable career. Welcome back, Randy. Randy's showing us around if you're on the YouTube right now.
I'm looking at New Jersey.
He's on the top of the world in an undisclosed hotel. We won't give out the location.
No, we
But
won't.
it's just an amazing view that you've got the sunset in New York City right now. We're listening right now, Randy, to your latest release. I think you just released this, A House Guest. And I wanted to know, just quickly, does your house guest like peanuts?
No, but that's a absolutely true story. That's a bird who comes almost every day to my house and listens to my playing and then takes off. And that's what the song is about.
So Randy Edelman, he's got such a long bio and so many success stories that I'd take the whole show to read them all. But let me reintroduce you to him. If you're just joining us, you're jumping in the car and turning on the radio and you're tuning in now. He has written more than 100 film and television scores. He's playing the piano for us right now, by the way. How special is that to get Randy Edelman to do the background track on this interview? So again, he's written more than 100 film and television scores, including Gettysburg, My Cousin Vinny, and The Mask, which we talked about in the first half. If you missed it, go back. He composed some of the heroes for the 1996 Summer Olympics. He performed a sold-out concert at Carnegie Hall last year, and he won a Broadway World Award in 2 categories for Best Song and Best Solo Performance at that Carnegie Hall performance. For those of you that were there, lucky you. He also won the World Entertainment Award for Best Songwriter and recently the United Nations Humanitarian Award. He's a Golden Globe nominated songwriter whose music has been recorded by artists including Barry Manilow, Nelly, and Diane Warwick. He is nominated for a Golden Globe Award and British Academy Award, a BAFTA, for The Last of the Mohicans. See, I was going to get it in there, Randy. I had it. Randy Edelman's melodies have established themselves as iconic soundtracks of modern film and television. And maybe more importantly, they have become the soundtracks to our own lives. Randy Edelman is known for his ability to blend cinematic grandeur and the heartfelt emotion. And after decades in the business, he's still willing to take risks and he lands them with grace. Randy, congratulations on the recent Broadway World Award for Best Song and Best Solo Performance at Carnegie Hall, and your World Entertainment Award for Best Songwriter, well deserved, and the United Nations Humanitarian Award. How important are the awards to you?
I appreciate them all, but they're not things that I really think about.
You got a lot of them.
Huh?
You got a lot of them.
Well, but they're not. Yeah, you don't think about it. You think about creating and writing. Really, seriously, that's what turns me on. Any of the other stuff never did. I wouldn't be doing. Just music is my passion. It has been since I've been a little kid.
How accurately does the title of the latest album, Waltzing on a Highwire, describe your life?
When I think about it, it describes it in a pretty accurate way because there's no guarantees, not knowing what's around the corner. You put your foot on the wrong place, you could fall down and you get up, but it depends how high that wire is, but anyway, luckily I've been able to do that. But no, just unpredictability and danger lurking
Everyone.
which I kind of and challenges, and I kind of like that.
Well, so speaking personally, as someone who has you to interview, like I said, you can't possibly honor you properly. Your successes are too great. If there is such a thing as being too great, you'd be that definition. How do you introduce yourself to people? If you're meeting somebody for the first time, what do you tell them you do?
I never tell them I do it. I just introduce myself. I never preface it by saying I'm a film composer or I'm a songwriter. I never do that. When would you ever do that? Who would you tell that to? If someone asks me, then I will tell them. But I always say, going back to what I think I mentioned maybe a while ago, maybe not to you, I'm a musician. That's what I am. That's what I I'm not a film composer. I'm not a songwriter. I'm not a series theme writer. I'm a musician. I'm a piano player. That's what who creates his own original music, and luckily I've been able to get by doing that. You know.
You were born with the ability to hear music and transcribe it on the piano. How can you explain that?
Uh, well, I don't know. I mean, when he's born at that, it's I mean, I'm not the only one there are people who can do that. I was able to go over the piano, I think, I can't remember, and pick things out that I would hear, whether it be from a record that my parents had or the radio or something. And then that started me off, you know.
And originally, I found this fascinating too, that you were studying music, excuse me, medicine, not music. And why did you originally pursue a career
I,
in the medical
I,
field?
I never did. I never did.
Did,
I went out to some place, a weird thing, because I'm from right over there in New Jersey. Why would someone from New Jersey go to Cincinnati to? I went out there and I was in the university there when I was 16 or maybe 17, and I was in the liberal arts school, and I just was taking, it wasn't pre-med. I was taking, the biology or the chemistry classes, or the lab courses that you would do if you were going in that way. But I was never going to go there. And I did the other thing. And then it turns out just a crazy coincidence that I was in Cincinnati, which is the home of a place called King Records, one of the old R&B labels that had a guy by the name of James Brown. And that was my big change. You say, what you have to do? Well, that's what happened to me when I was a kid, writing arrangements. And somebody saw me and said, you know what? Let's bring that kid in. And he can bring kids from the music conservatory to play violins. And that's what I did. And that
was it
changed my trajectory.
was it freeing for you when you realized this is what I'm going to do? Music. This is what I'm good at. This is what I love. This is what I got passion for.
Um,
Did it free
well,
you?
I really, it
Take a
was,
weight off?
I come from my family. There was nobody who could even fathom, except for maybe teaching music in a school or something like that. So I was kind of concerned, but I was at the right age at that time before I got worried about, like, ooh, what are you really going to do? And then, like, you only need, I look back, you only need one little germ of something to happen. If it happens to lead you somewhere, it doesn't mean that it's going to be something that would foreseeably be something great or big. No, just an opportunity that you get, that you do this and then you do that, and then you get a job playing on Broadway that doesn't sound like anything big deal. It's a big deal to have a union job playing in Broadway when you're 20 years old. Um, uh, and then that leads to something else. The star of the show sees this kid and said, oh, I got to go on the Tonight Show. I need an arrangement for something. Seemingly, those in looking back are huge things, and that propels you. It's not like I did an album and it was number one the next day. No, this is different. And they're all musical things, and they inform different musicality, whether it's arranging or conducting or accompanying a piano or orchestrating different elements. And then years and years and years later, when you're confronted with maybe scoring a film or something, you have those abilities at your that you can call back, you can call on, because you've done a little bit of it.
But there would be no way for you to really dream and foresee the future that you've created for yourself.
Oh no,
Would there?
not at all, not at
And
all.
what did you dream? What was that dream? Like, was
No, no, I had no. You know what? I had no dream.
no
The
dream?
dream was, if you told me, there's a couple of things. If you want to be honest with me, I could say my dream was to compose music for films. No, I wasn't a film score buff. I'd go to see Doctor Zhivago and listen to Maurice Jarre's great score and like it, like just like a normal person. But I didn't like that. If you told me you could get a job in the A&R department of a record company, that would have been a big thing. Now that has nothing to do. It was related. You know what I mean? because you would be working in the quote entertainment music business. But I didn't know. All those things, by the way, happened and could have happened, but I didn't know where I was going. But I knew that I had a certain passion for music and melody and harmony and an excitement to classical music that was very important to all different kinds of music, but like not jazz and not opera. Those were two things that some people are young, they could be into those and they're great, and I've gotten into them. But I was just into certain kinds of things that I was passionate about, and I was able to apply that when the opportunity presented itself. Because you got to be ready. Lots of people get opportunities. You got to be ready for
You
them.
got to grab it.
Yep.
Now, did you working young as a young musician? Did you struggle? Was it hard to pay the bills? And did you have to take what's the worst job you ever had to take to pay the bills?
You know what? I never took a job to pay bills.
I love
Did
you.
I have any money? No. Did
No.
my family have money? No. But I had a job and I was a young single guy with no responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? So when you say, did you
Freedom.
struggle? No, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I didn't have, I was a young kid. But did I struggle? Yes. Emotionally, when I did my first album and no one heard it, and my second, my third, yeah, I didn't. However, I took the music that I wrote with me, and there were just enough people, handful of people, I can name them. A lot of them, they're gone now, that obviously responded to what I was doing. And so I was able to do another album, even though the first one didn't sell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And one person did record a song until the next one. And so I started early on, but it didn't explode. I wasn't James Taylor and had a big album, or Elton John or any of that kind of whose stuff I was always listening. That was happening at the time. It was a new kind of, God, these personal songs, and I loved it. And they were great. They weren't like me. But the point is, I was trying to make albums like that, meaning the albums that I was making were meant to be pop commercial stuff in my style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be, oh, I'm some conservatory trained musician and I'm something. No, they were pop albums. Just listen to any one of them, and you will see that they're in the ballpark, like many other people. So that's what I did. But I didn't have money or anything like that. But I had enough, yes, to pay the bills that I had, which weren't many.
What's
I
the
lived in one room when I moved to California for 5 years. One room, nothing was in the room but a piano and a bed and a bathroom. And it wasn't terrible, it was up in the
all
hills,
you
but
needed?
that's where I lived.
That's
Yeah.
all you needed.
Yeah.
What's the nicest thing that someone's ever said to you? A compliment that you remember?
Oh, geez. I'm fortunate. There have been many
A
people who
lot.
have been, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, just, you know what? There's been so many times. It's when somebody reacts to a piece of music of mine that I either play them live, or I play them a recording, or I'm playing music for a film, and they respond, and I want to jump on them and kiss them. I don't. I try to be cool, but it's a great feeling when someone records your song. A lot of people say, "Oh, they didn't do it the same way." What are you kidding? That's a compliment. They could record a million terrific songs out there that people write that they could record, and they chose mine. So that to me is, I mean, there's been certain things that I remember, but
It's usually
you know,
the criticism that you remember, isn't it? The one thing someone said offhand.
well, but you know what? There too many of that negative stuff. That's the most you're going to get knocked down nine times out of 10. Whatever you want to do, whether it's a song or whatever you have in your mind, it never happens, never. But there's that maybe, if you're lucky, 1 out of the 10 times that does, and that sets you on your way. But most of the time in this business, in any art business. It doesn't have to be music or writing novels, or I mean, come on, most of the stuff people don't, it doesn't get a wide viewership or
Hmm.
listenership or whatever. It just doesn't happen that way. So I, went through the first record of mine. I did 4 albums. That's a lot of albums to do, and nothing happened. And then in England, something happened. Why would it happen in England? They speak English, and it never happened here. But you know what? It happened. That meant I know something that you don't know, and all the other people who didn't buy it. Somebody likes it. And guess what? They speak English. So
I love it.
that was a big deal. But I had done 4 albums. So I'd been through the muck. Basically, I figured that's it. At the end of that album, and that album came out and didn't do anything, and I said, okay, that's it. That's it. No one's gonna, because in those days it's not like now. People can go in their bedroom and do a great, a quality recording. Just the technology is there. But in those days, you needed a record company. If you're a songwriter, you needed a publisher to record a demo to play for somebody. If you were a songwriter, so
Randy,
anyway.
what's home for you, musically speaking? Like, is it the recording studio? Is it the stage, or is it up on the silver?
No, it's writing at the piano at when it's at home at my little studio in my backyard at home. But it's all right. The piano is my friend. I mean, there was a show I did called A Close Relationship. That was the title of the show before Around the World in 80 Minutes or something like that. Um, uh, and that's my relationship with this. I'm sitting here in this place, and why is this here? Do I have to have this? Do I have to play it? No, of course not. But I have it and I play it. It's there if I need it. So that's what it is. It's just being at a keyboard. Usually, once in a while, I'll write, especially if I'm doing lyrics. But I was never a quote lyricist, and yet I've never worked with anybody in my life. So I always write my own lyrics because it was just handy and practical when I started writing. It was like there were a million people at my doorstep to write lyrics. So I'm most at home just with an idea and a melody and a keyboard, and it's the same. It doesn't matter what it's for: film, television, sports, album, show. It's the same. It's the music, and it's mine. So when I get up there now, Friday or Saturday, or do this show, which becomes like my life story. It's not my life story, but it is, because this is what I've done over the last 50 years. And that's it. Yeah.
Um, we haven't even delved into your cinema. We a
Well,
little bit.
that's
We touched on it, but
not really.
you're you're at the top of your profession. I mean, you're in the first few names that are mentioned when um, film scores are talked about. Do you have a score or a cue or even a song that most defines you and your legacy? I know that's
Not even,
hard to do. No.
no, not even close. No, the films. No, there's too many. When you figure each of those films has over an
Yeah.
hour of orchestral music, that's a lot of music. It's not like a song, a 2 minute song through. And and each one of them, and some of my favorites are not necessarily the ones that you've heard of or that were successful. What a composer takes away from a film, as any of those terrific guys that you talk to or be talking to, is you take away the relationship you had with one person, the director. That's your memory of a film and your score. That's what it's about. And if it was a good working relationship and you wrote something that both you and he were proud of, that hopefully elevated, helped the emotional level of the picture, whatever it was, whether it was a silly comedy or an action film or a great historical film, it that's what you take away. The music along with that relationship. That's what I remember, whether it's working with the most, wonderful, wonderful guy in the world named Ron Howard,
Mhm.
or working with someone like Ted Turner, who wasn't a director, but was a producer and a Civil War buff who owned the rights to Gettysburg, and so I was fortunate to meet him, or Michael Mann on Mohegans, or Jonathan Lynn on My Cousin Vinny, Rob Cohen on a Million Triple X and Dragonheart. These guys they're all different people with different backgrounds and personalities who arrived at doing this particular project and then met me. And then we had a very intense creative relationship, which I could spend years on each of them. And sometimes I only had 2 weeks. What are you going to do? That's what it had. That's what I had. So it's, but that's as far as one. No, there's some. You mentioned the film 6 Days and 7 Nights that I did with Ivan Reitman.
Yeah.
And that film never got its due. It
No,
was a
it's a
summer
great
summer. It was a
score.
summer movie with Harrison Ford. And who did they cast in it? We won't get into the story. They cast this girl, and the girl was fucking amazing. She was terrific. But then all this other stuff surfaced, and people didn't buy the thing for maybe a variety of reasons. But my score to that film, and again, it was, you may say overall, it was a comedy, yes, but there's some unreal stuff. And in many of the scores there are, and that may seem an odd one that I would mention, but there's some very involved, complex, discordant, as well as melodic music in many of these scores. And that's why I can't say I have a favorite,
Yeah.
I can go up
That's
and hear the Boston Pops perform Gettysburg, and you get that very big stirring kind of Civil War music, and that's one feeling. And then you'll hear something else, and you get a different feeling. So luckily, there's many of them that I'm proud of. Most of the stuff.
that's all you can hope for, right? That's a good feeling. Well, how do you feel? The timer's out. Well, you've run past the time that I have with you. So, and I know you got to get out into that New York.
No, but I'm really, but you know what, Jeremiah? I'm glad that we hung on and
Yeah,
did
me too.
this the way you wanted, because I felt bad. I still don't know what happened. Of course, I knew I was talking about this guy who came up, Andres, who's the manager of this whole place. And I said, I was thinking, this guy. Remember, I said, I got all the stuff
Yeah.
downstairs, but he happened to come to the door. And
Well,
and in 1 second, he said, "You got no Wi-Fi. You got
oh,
and
that
he
went
got
away.
it."
Yeah, for the listener who's wondering what we're talking about, Randy's talking about, we spent about a half an hour together trying to figure out how to get online together, although both of us have done it a million times. Of course, there's always one time that you just cannot figure it out. And luckily, the manager of the hotel came to the door and got him right online. So I'm so happy for this, and I'm so happy for this opportunity to speak with you. It's been so much fun, and I hope when you bring the new album out, you'll come back and we can
Oh
continue.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, will you be watching the Oscars this weekend? Are you
Uh,
are you performing?
no. Sunday night I probably won't because I'm no. I Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday something else is going on, and Sunday night, I don't know. I mean, I tape it.
All right. Well, let me mention and plug a couple things for you if you don't mind.
Sure.
An intimate evening with Randy Edelman at Amon's Jazz Club in New York City, Saturday, March 14th. Coming up here in a couple days. So if you're in New York and you're listening to this, get over there. It's at 6:30 p.m. The incomparable Randy Edelman returns to New York for what promises to be one of the most elegant and emotionally charged evenings of the season, live at Amen Jazz Club, New York. You can go to thejazzclub.com for tickets, pick up or stream, whatever you do, but just listen to Waltzing on a Highwire. The album is fantastic. We've been playing 4 songs from the album throughout this interview. Waltzing on a Highwire is everything that captures exactly what a solo album is supposed to be: personal, empathetic, and deeply earnest. That's by Splash. And a deeply felt experience by Broadway World. Waltzing on a Highwire is now available on all streaming platforms, as well as in vinyl CD format and a limited edition double vinyl album. The album includes both a royal blue and a cherry red disc with an insert containing all of the lyrics. You can visit randyedelman.com, RandyEdelman.com. Before we go, I want to thank Randy Edelman, and I also
You're
want
welcome.
Carol Connors. And I've got to do this other plug. You guys know Yoshiki, underscoring his status as an international icon. Ex-Japan bandleader Yoshiki is set to perform the Japanese national anthem, Kimigayo, at the 2026 F1A Formula One World Championship Japanese Grand Prix on Sunday, March 29th. It's going to be broadcast in 180 countries. Today's music soundtracks features 4 songs from the Waltzing on a Highwire album. Okay, so we are about to listen to 21 again, Coming of Age. Randy Edelman has crafted a song that's not just about reliving the past, but about reclaiming the fearless spirit of youth and applying it with wisdom of age. So here's what I want the listener to do this. Some part of this, any part of this, before I play.
I'm going.
Beautiful song. You saying goodbye?
I'm saying goodbye.
Goodbye, Randy.
I got it. All right.
All
Great
right.
to see you. You're the best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, before I play this beautiful single for you, follow my instructions if you can. Strike a match and light your fireplace or a candle. Pour yourself into a nice chair and pour yourself, not on you, but in a cup, a nice cup of coffee. Breathe it in deeply. Or if it's that time, pour a whiskey. If you smoke, light a cigar. Dim the lights. Take a few deep breaths and settle into your favorite chair. Okay, are you ready? You're going to love this.